Hello everyone. In this video and in the next ones, we'll do a recap of what Fusion's capabilities are and how we can use it for 3D modeling. We'll start by revising its layout, what's setting with the cloud, preferences, basic modeling, and its tools. First thing we should keep in mind, either we're beginners or been modeling in Fusion for a while now, is that its interface is constantly changing. Although the basic stuff remains the same. So what we learn now will be useful in the future. And what we also need to keep in mind is that we can personalize our experience to quite an extent. When I started modeling, I was unaware of all the preferences and all the things I could change in Fusion. Let's say I want to modify the order of those axes. I can right click and I can modify the view, I can reset home, I can set the current view as other view, and I can change the perspective. Another cool thing we can do before we start modeling is come here to the bottom and change the grid settings. I can select snap to grid, so when I sketch my lines snap to the grid, layout grid lock, and toggle the layout grid from behind. I like to keep this on, but I know people that like it off, so you can make it your own. I can have multiple viewports, so I can see my model from the top here, I can see my model from front here, and so on, or single view. I can also change the display settings, visual style, mesh display, environment. You can play with this when you have a model already opened, so you can see the differences and select which one you like more. Here in this menu, as you probably know by now, we can find our projects. All of them are stored in the cloud. That means that you can access your data and your models from any computer directly from the browser. You can download them, you can open them on someone else's computer, you can log in to Fusion to someone else's computer and you'll have them here. Or you can use Fusion directly in the browser, which is cool. Next to it, I'll close it. We have a file menu, save icon, undo and redo, like you probably know by now. Let's see how we begin a new design. I'll first save this. Let's say I want to name it first design. Actually, my first design. And I want the location to be patterns. Or let's say sweep or whatever project I have here. I can also create a new project and what I like about this is that I can create folders inside of it and place my first design in the folder with the same name, so I keep it more organized and neat. I'll click save and it's saved. When creating a design, a new design in Fusion, we want to start by creating the components, one component at a time, or all the components that I know for sure I'll need for my design first. I can create a new component from here, from the assemble menu, by selecting new component, or by right-clicking on the root component in the browser and selecting New Component. We want to name each component so it will be easier to identify and find it. Let's say I want a wall, and this is my component. I can create one from here also, it's the same thing. But the cool thing about it is if I don't have a body to start from, I can select empty component and it does what I did here. And if I had a body here, I could right click on it and select create component from bodies, and that option is what this one does. So I have multiple options and multiple choices. Going back to my component, the reason behind naming and renaming them properly is that the component will group all of the relevant two-dimensional sketches and other details of the part that we design inside of it, and we don't want them laying around in the root component or anywhere else. We want them here. This is achieved by activating the component. To see if a component is active, we check if the circle right here has a black dot inside of it, so it's checked. Now the component is active, and this is also known as fusion rule number 1.